Hello everybody and welcome back to Dominion of Men, and it looks like the elves are starting to feel the pressure a little bit. It has gotten to the point where they are offering us a ceasefire on very generous terms, only demanding 23,820 Mirian from us. Now, I could try something here. We definitely want to eliminate the elves, but usually when a faction approaches you with an offer of a ceasefire, even if they demand something completely ridiculous, that's usually an opportunity to try to get something out of them. And that may be settlements, it may be cash, it may be protectorate status. Now, you would have to give in a lot yourself, but that may work out. So I'm thinking, because Harland is just kind of far away, I don't want to deal with it. I'm thinking about demanding Harland. I've got Forland under siege already. So I'll demand Harland. And you know what? I will give you a payment. I'm going to offer you 10,000. I've got the money. Is that 100,000? Yeah, that was 100,000. I could have afforded that too. But sure. I'll give you 10,000. I'll give you a ceasefire if you give me Harland. Oh, no. Nothing going to work. Okay. All right. Worth a try. Maybe we can do some more shenanigans there. Okay, ceasefire. You know what? I would love for you to be my protectorate. Now, I can't really enforce this because they don't have... I don't have them in a good position to demand overlordship. But let's just try offering them like all of my money and see what that does. Yeah, they're not going to go for it. So the way that would work is if I had their settlements under siege, they would have accepted it. But I didn't, so that failed. Well, in any case, folks, we are closing in on the last days of the Elven realm. They've only got these 3 settlements. We seem to have cleaned out all of their field armies, and as a matter of fact, their king has even died, which I'm not sure exactly what that means, but I believe the faction can survive without a faction leader, without any members of its family tree. So that is great, because it means we don't have an Elven retainer unit to fight. And that's sort of an unexpected surprise. Now, maybe that unit is still sitting around somewhere that I don't know, but that seems very unusual. So we're going to do a bunch of things today. We're going to attack Harland, since they were so rude about not giving it to us, and we're probably going to assault Forland as well, and then we're going to finish things up with the assault on Mythland, their capital. Let's just check the news here first. Bjornings and the Reunited Kingdom at war, and we've got more troops training up, and we're just making tons of money because we've essentially stopped building. We've got the entire realm on a war footing. Okay, this army has elven bows and mariners. We can batter open the gates with our catapults and send in the troops, and I think we should do quite well here. So let's see how this performs. This is going to be pretty much a straight up fight. We don't have... I don't think we really have any archer units here, but that's totally fine. We've got a bunch of cavalry that won't play much of a role, probably. If we can get them up into the town square and maybe do some charges, but I expect to do the bulk of this with my Swords of the Shadow. I'd like to preserve the axes for the Mythland fight, where they're going to have to be fighting Lindon Guard. These units, we've faced these guys before, and so I'm not too concerned about what they're going to throw at us. Alright, so we've got the Elven settlement layout as usual. We'll go ahead and with settlement assaults, you want to keep these guys on normal ammunition, the catapults. So that's what we want. Let's get the Swords of the Shadow up front and ready to go in. We got the axes backing them. We do have a unit of Spears of the Shadow. That actually might be a good pinning unit. The defense on those guys is exactly the same as the Swords of the Shadow, as a matter of fact. Well, it would be higher, but the Swords of the Shadow have the some armor upgrades that these guys don't. So technically, Spears of the Shadow, all other things being equal, have a bit of advantage on defense. But in this fight, my swords are the better. All right, we're just going to aim to bash down the wall. We'll get some towers as well. Oh, I should be aiming at that wall, actually. We'll probably have the ammunition to do it. Looks like that's the main road up the hill. If we go all around that way. Alright, so we destroyed that. Let's just destroy this too. Why not? Alright. Now, I don't think we're going to destroy the towers. But let's see. Let's just send all of our troops in. You know what? I will run my spears forward to just capture towers. Okay, the gatehouse has been completely destroyed. So, very good. You guys can stop just randomly firing at it. And we'll send the axes in to back up the swords. So we're going to run you guys up into the tower, and we'll just go all the way around. So our way up into the city is going to be here.
Our soldiers have captured the walls. Now is the time to press on and capture this place.
All right, and they're going to continue along the walls here, so we should be in good shape. We're just going to march our men around. And I'll bring my general too. And why not all of this Shadow Rider cavalry? And if we get this last tower, we should be completely secure. And I'm thinking of even driving these Spears of the Shadow ahead of my swords, just so that they can absorb the arrow fire. Because, as we can see, the elves are camping at the top of the hill, which makes a lot of sense. So I'm curious how they'll perform. Our men are still fresh because we've just been walking them. Of course, the spears are utterly tired. We'll see how tired they get climbing this hill. And once they're at the top, how well they do against these units. There's not a lot of room up here to do a lot of charges and maneuvers. It does look like the spears are starting to attract the interest of these archers. They're not able to fire given the curve of the hill kind of blocking them there. But if we can run in with the spears and get into melee... So far, they're not doing anything to us. Okay, they're aiming at our axemen. That's smart. All right, well, we're charging in now with our spears, and let's see. Let's halt you guys. They're just warmed up, so that's great. And we'll see if we can kind of work them around the sides. We will have a unit in here just to back up the spears, and we'll keep the other ones here. The axes of the shadow we do want to bring up the hill, as well as all of our cav. Okay, the general unit is the archer. Alright, so the Mariners have 41, and the Elven bows have 42. We'll see how that changes over the course of the battle here. They're going to be tearing up my Spears of the Shadow. They're just tired. Alright, let's hit the Elven bows from the other side. Yep, no Elven losses yet. Okay, there we go. They took out one of the Elven bowmen. And after a while, they are going to start to wear them down, I would say. Yeah, they're taking some more losses now. And especially once we get the axes in. Although these guys are utterly tired. Huh. Which is interesting. The swordsmen had a much easier time climbing the hill, so I'm wondering if it has to do with their stamina levels. It doesn't say anything about it. But the axemen really don't have the, I guess, the stamina to climb that hill. So we'll send in those swords. The axemen, I guess I do want to have them kind of get to like at least a warmed up state or a fresh state rather than being exhausted. But we are getting some kills now. And some of our men are still marching up. We could also do a charge, probably right into this this group with our cav. All of our cav is fresh, as a matter of fact. So let's do that. Let's just charge them all in a big blob. This is not going to be a good charge, but we can at least kind of pull them through. Haven't taken any losses yet. Alright, there we go. But we are getting some kills in as well. So yeah, I know this is really not optimal, but the mass of the horses, I think that may play some role. It is pushing back the unit. I don't know exactly what that does. If you do know, let me know. Pushing back, I know in Medieval 1, because Medieval 1 had this fantastic guidebook that actually went into the detail of the battle mechanics and the calculations that were used, and it went into, here are all the factors that determine whether or not a unit is hit and killed or not. And I know that being pushed back gave them some, gave the unit that was being pushed back some debuffs, making it easier to get killed. So I don't know if that is still the case in Rome 1. Alright, these guys are at least catching their breath. This unit right here is now very tired. We'll just give them some more time. And then meanwhile, we're in a good position to maybe do some charging with these Shadow Riders. I mean, it's very messy over here in terms of space, so we can't get a very pretty looking charge, but maybe we can send one of the units over here. Alright, it looks like some of them are actually trying to engage our cav. So yeah, let's run in. Oh wow. Nice. Killed the enemy general. Got a couple units of cav charging in. Only 10 elven bows remaining. And 11 mariners, so yeah, this is more like it. Massed cavalry. These Shadow Riders are quite good. And of course, the elves didn't have any spearmen or anti-cavalry units in any significant sense anyway. I will pull out this unit because they're now in melee, so they're not getting that charge bonus anymore. These guys are still charging. Alright, we'll pull you out, and we will charge in with the other units. Did this guy go from very tired to utterly tired? I swear. I mean, now this unit is very tired. I could have sworn it was this one, the 71. Well, I don't think we need to throw them in. We're going to be taking these guys out. We'll just leave my... Yep, there we go. Alright, nice work, everybody. Pretty straightforward there. And so a clear victory, and we've got more than enough men to just turn around and do that to Mythland. Alright, and what to do with Harland but lay it desolate, even though that doesn't really do too much for us. Yeah, we'll destroy everything as usual here. Gardens of the Mingling of the Lights. Yep, Feasting Hall, War Masters, and Fish Markets. So we'll get rid of all that stuff. This is going to rebel. That's fine, we don't really need it. You know, I'm thinking we get rid of the catapults too. We've got like 10 catapults waiting to reinforce up here. And let's do the same thing in Forland. We have a single unit of garrison inside, and it's a unit of mariners. So let's go ahead and do that. This is our longbowman stack. It's also got some black shields, a ton of catapults that we won't need. Actually, I've been thinking that I can't bring the catapults inside, but of course if I make a giant hole in the wall, I could just drag the catapults through the hole in the wall. So a bit of an oversight there on my part. So I mean, I guess I could just I could just bring them all up and just win this entirely with catapults. That might be funny to do. Let's see. We certainly have the units to take care of what's in here, though. Got enough javelins and swords to, I think, do a pretty easy job. They're just going to be waiting at the top of the hill. It should only take a couple of casts, and we'll have those down. We'll aim at the towers, the gate walls, and then we'll be able to bring everything up without being shot at by the enemy towers. Alright, there's at least one.
Our troops should be ordered forward.
Alright, so you're going to go and hit that, and you're going to hit the gateway. There's the other side. And you help hit the gateway as well. So these are going to be the units that we'll want to fight with, assuming we're going to get into melee range. I guess we could use Royal Longwomen to pull them down the hill also. Alright, the tower's been completely destroyed. Let's see, the gatehouse has been completely destroyed. So let's, yeah, let's go this way. Tower's been completely destroyed, so we'll send you up here. And you up here. Can we actually... Okay, we may not be able to get them in, actually. Yeah. Okay, so I wasn't entirely crazy. So we have to do this the old-fashioned way. We'll just bring all of our units straight up the hill. Now, if we captured the gates, could we fit the catapults through them? I don't really think so. It would be quite buggy at best, is my my thinking. But maybe we can use the Royal Spearmen to give it a shot. Get up here, open the gates, and see if the catapults can use the door. Alright, we've got the gate, but no.
Our soldiers have done well
All right.
this day. The walls are taken.
Alright, forgot to go into shield wall. But we do want to do that with the other unit. Black shields are losing slightly. Let's send in the other swords. I guess we'll just pile them all in. This is not good, but I don't think we need to be tactical anymore. We've got just overwhelming numbers. At least I think they're overwhelming. So to help this along, we will try to get our cavalry around. These are all family members, so there is a bit of a risk in losing them. A couple of these guys are fairly old. And the angle is not great here for a charge either. We'll wait till they form up and we'll give it a shot. Alright, let's see what we can do. Yeah, not very much. I think we need a bit more space to get up to speed, but we are, starting to do some damage to them. Let's pull them back. Alright, let's get those black shields out of the way, and then we'll try another charge. I mean, again, it's going to be blunted by all the other troops of ours that are in the way. But they're down to 25 elves. Down to 22 already, so that was a pretty good charge, actually. I think we'll try to pull them through in this direction. Hit them from this side with the black shields. We lost quite a few out of this black shields unit, but utterly tired, or I think they just got back up to very tired. I swore it said utterly tired a second ago. So I guess that's to be expected. Alright, let's do another cav charge. Not a lot of space for this again. But that may be enough to do it. We're taking out quite a few of them. Some of our guys are still charging this unit here. And down to just one remaining. That's the general, or the captain of this garrison. Alright, now if we do push him out and keep him out for a couple of minutes, or get him to rout, then we would win it by default. So it may come to that. We may just push him out of the square. But this charge, yeah. There he goes. Second city in the episode, and we may be wrapping this up in this very episode. We'll see how that goes. We took very few losses there. It's a funny thing because early in the campaign we were just taking monstrous losses against the elves, but then you get to a certain point, a certain momentum, I guess, where you're training troops. The troops you're training are high enough quality, and you've got enough of them that they can just gang up and So it really swings the balance of power there. So again, we're going to lay this desolate. We're going to go ahead and just trash everything. Yeah, the population here is just right at 400, essentially. Us destroying the population there, I think that took it down by about 5. So really, the elves had nothing to work with in these settlements. When you're playing as the elves... Well, yeah, let's bring everybody here. We're not going to be keeping that place. When you're actually playing as the elves, the only thing you can do here is basically convert it to managed population. I think you can train like 1 unit out of each of these settlements, and it's going to be a high tier unit because the lower tier guys just have too many men. So you don't have a lot to work with. All right. You know what? Let's train an emissary. Now we've got them, you know, basically surrounded here. I'm gonna go ahead and build some stuff, but I'm not gonna do anything just yet. I'm gonna bring my other armies up, and we're gonna train an emissary. We're gonna see what the elves do. If they sally, or if they approach us. Dale wants trade. No thanks. Alright. Where'd that emissary go? He was just there. An elven emissary. Where on earth? Did he go? Maybe to talk to the dwarves? Wow. Okay, they're going ham on dwarven bows. That's a Rohan emissary. Where is the elven guy? He could be pretty far away, I guess, because there's a lot of good roads around here. So he could be around one of my settlements. Well, let's take our emissary out, and let's just try as an experiment. Accept overlordship, give single payment, and I'll give you 100,000. Wow, I kind of didn't expect that to work. All right, so the thrilling conclusion of our Elven destruction campaign ends with them as our slaves. Okay, let's see, because what I want to check is what happens next. We just lost 100,000 Mirian through diplomacy. What's going to happen next turn? We're definitely going to eliminate them, just because that's the way this campaign is sort of planned to go, right? We want to eliminate the faction. But I was curious if they would submit, and they did. For a cool 100,000, we just had them under siege down to their last settlement, and that works. Now, in this case, it doesn't really make sense for us to have gotten them as a protectorate, right? Because they're not providing any buffering between us and another more threatening faction. For instance, the dwarves, which are around here, are not threatening to us, and this is not really keeping us safe by keeping Mythland in the hands of the elves. But what happens to our economy next turn? So we get 275,000 this turn. I think we're making around 17,000 a turn. Got a couple of settlements rebelling, and that's 1,014,700 in the treasury. I have never had this much. And what is this? Independent peoples. So we've just got random woodsman levies attacking our catapults. Yeah, we'll auto-resolve that. That's fine. So we had a civil result in Forland and Harland, but how much money did we make in diplomacy? We are over 1 million. I've never seen this much cash. Okay. So the elves paid us 738,908 in tribute in the previous turn. We spent 100,000, and they gave us over 700,000 in return. So that was quite profitable, actually. And if we wanted to, and so this is why I recommend getting protectorates. Now, I've never seen that good of a... oh, we got a problem here. Because we're at war with the Reunited Kingdom, they canceled our protectorate status. Well, that's grounds for war. But if you can do it with a faction that doesn't have this kind of weird diplomatic ties to other factions, because the elves, for example, are tied in with the Reunited Kingdom, I guess, and the Free Folk faction, which is off-map and just exists to ensure diplomatic regularity as much as is possible in this engine. So I think, given that we are at war with the Reunited Kingdom, and that war is basically never going to end, the elves are going to break their protectorate with us in order to keep their alliance with the Reunited Kingdom. So that's unfortunate. We didn't get to keep them as protectorates very long, but we made 600,000 in just straight up profit. So, I mean, we could probably do it again in terms of getting them as a protectorate, but I want to go out the old-fashioned way. We'll just let's see. Let's build some stuff. 8 seasons. I think we can do that. We'll wait for them to sally out, or we will go in and attack. They're probably not going to sally because we've got overwhelming force in the area, actually. So let's get our other units off map, out of the province, just so as not to threaten them too badly. Alright, very dramatic sound. I guess we lost a noble over in Westmarch. So one of these guys. Alright. Only 5 turns left. Oh, who had that? Someone just picked up Harrimore. Well, it's one of my countless family members at this point, so not too worried about it. We're wrapping up the campaign here. So yeah, that protectorate mechanic. Basically, okay, wow, so we're neutral with Tharbad somehow because probably we stopped fighting with the elves, and that, I don't know why that would force a neutrality, but yeah, let's demand 1,000 for trade from them. Yeah, sure. You know what? Sure, we'll trade. But the way it works is you get a faction down to a single settlement. You drive a dump truck full of money up to their house, and you give it to them, and you demand that they become a protectorate, and that's essentially what it takes. Now, you can get protectorates for as low as 10,000, I think I've seen. Usually, I would say you want to get at least 50,000, and I prefer to have 100,000 in the bank before I start going for it. And it seems ridiculous to shell out that much at a single go for a protectorate status. But, as you have seen, what often results is the following turn, the faction that is your protectorate will give you all the excess in its treasury. And for some reason, the elves have a ton left over in their bank account. I hope they're going to sally out here. I want to have a final battle between them and my Axes of the Shadow. But it is good to know that the elves don't make a good protectorate target because of the alliance, or the fact that I'm at war with the Reunited Kingdom, making it likely that they're going to drop protectorate status with me. That, by the way, is fairly unusual. Usually the way it works when a faction becomes your protectorate is the next turn are sort of neutral to any factions that were at war with them that they are allied to. So you sort of get neutral to all these other factions, and then what you want to do is go and attack those other factions. so that your protectorate would stay friends with you because they respect the aggressor's alliance. Let's see, are they going to sally out? They're not, of course. Of course not. Oh well. Alright, so we're going to lay Desolate to Mythland, and there we go. That's the elves destroyed. Oh, and we've got Rohan. What? I do not... Oh, high pass. Okay. Okay, so we've got the White Tower. So I was just not paying attention to my eastern border here at the end. And so it's good that we did this when we did, folks. We wrapped up the campaign just in time because Rohan is coming from the east. They took out all the orcs at the High Pass Stronghold. And if I were playing this like a proper campaign and really trying to win and meet all my actual victory conditions, then I would certainly have paid attention to this. But as it is, Rohan stands likely to potentially take Lastbridge, although I've got some pretty decent troops in the area, and we could get some mercenaries and scrape some stuff together and take them out. They do have some Helminghouse, which is very interesting. But okay, so there are the elves wiped out ignominiously in a last battle, and I didn't even get to see my Axes of the Shadow in action. So really where the campaign was won, I would say, was back a couple of episodes ago. When I first set foot in Mythland, we fought a couple of battles that ultimately ended in defeat, but I think both of those battles helped to wear down the armies that the elves had, and then so that when we came in the next time, we were really prepared to just completely remove all resistance in the area. And so it is unfortunate. I wanted to use some of these high elite troops, but we had done the work without them, so I guess that's how it goes. I'd like to remove the Fog of War here at the end of these just to see how the world looks. There we go. And as expected, Rohan is blobbing up through Anduin Vale. We do have Tharbad with some stacks around Dunland. Okay, so I guess we saw that they are actually... Okay, they're not at war with anybody. So probably Rohan lost some of these settlements in a rebellion. And so Tharbad opportunistically took them. Good for them. And so, of course, Dunland has been eliminated. Rohan owns most of this, but this territory is not easy for them to hold, at least initially. And the Reunited Kingdom is moved up toward Arendal as well. In the east, wow, Harad has done fairly well for itself. Gone up to Lathron, although this is a really isolated enclave here. Not sure what's in that army, but they must have had all of Ithilien at some point for them to be so far up there. But the Reunited Kingdom has taken it all back, very interestingly. And Harad is being eaten up from the east by Khand, as well as Far Harad. Is Far Harad around anymore? No, Khand is doing very well. They've got their original starting settlements. They've moved into Nirn, as well as Rune, of course, because we left. So Rune has expanded into Mordor. So we've seen a very different campaign. Oh, this is also held by Rune. Harad, rather. Cirith Gorgor. So Rune and Khand have done fairly well. Let's see if they're still allied with each other. Yeah, so they're just teaming up to get rid of these rebel provinces in Mordor, and that's given them the strength they needed to go against Harad, and actually, you know, even take some key settlements from them, such as Karas Agar. They've taken Parchereb, which is a good one to have. They taken Athen Karas from Far Harad, presumably, and Caranbad is an excellent take because that's a chief city. So Harad is actually not looking so good. Of course, they can still produce a lot, and it looks like they're going to take this back. They get a lot of troops in the area, but certainly not a one-sided affair like it sometimes is. Looks like Harondor has been eliminated, though. Let's see what else we have going on. Dorwinion at one point expanded all the way to Rovanos, so Rovanion is gone. Oh, but wow, Arun has taken Nareg-Zagil. That's also kind of neat to see. Dorwinion only has these two settlements. Three, actually. They've got Fornhud, which is their capital, Yarhelkar, and Rovanos. So Dorwinion probably not going to be around very much longer. I'm guessing that Dale is at war with them. Yes. So Dale has been hollowing out all of the progress that Dorwinion has made and capitalizing on it as usual. The Bjornings are reduced to just a couple of settlements, but they've taken both of the southern Elven places, Lorien and the southern Greenwood. So the Bjornings still hold those, but the Bjornings, I think, are not doing too well. They're at war with a lot of people. Or, actually, they're only at war with two factions, but they're big factions. Rohan and the Reunited Kingdom. And Rohan, of course, has moved up the Anduin Vale, taken Old Ford and the High Pass Stronghold so they can finally realize their dream of attacking me at Last Bridge for no damn reason. But in any case, folks, this has been the run. We've eliminated the elves, and that was the goal all along. Early on, a few episodes in, I was not sure how all this was going to go. We had some success, of course, early on in the southern Greenwood, but it ran into some trouble in the northern Mirkwood area because this is where we had a lot of Elven troops trained, and they could retrain those troops, and we didn't have a lot to deal with it. But once we got settled in this region, in Eriador and especially the Shire, some very wealthy territory to take advantage of there, and we were able to train enough so that even the elite troops of the Noldor, the Sindar in the Grey Havens and the area thereabouts were not able to stand up to us with quite a lot of help from our catapults. So, not sure what is next for the channel. We're going to certainly do some more campaigns. I think probably we will do something maybe a little more straightforward next time. I'm kind of feeling in the mood for a Bjorning's campaign, actually, but I'm not totally decided yet. And so let me know what you think about that. Thank you very much for joining me for this run, and take care.